Welcome to my cavity wall tray installation. We'll see various points of cavity wall tray installation here. I already installed lead flushing, so the flushing is already been cut into the wall all the way around. Now I'm just gonna show wall tray installation in this video. I have previously made a cut for flushing, and the cut above that, it's where we're going to be separating our bricks for wall tray from rest of the wall, so we don't chip the bricks. And all the cuts have been made in one go all the way around. I've been using 4.5 inch angle grinder and cut it all through. Now you can see all the holes are being cut out, and I'm going to form 3-sided lead trays for each one of these openings, and then, as you can see, I left a section of the brickwork in between these sections that are removed. So I've removed 3 bricks, left 2, removed 3, left 2, all the way around, because you need to leave some bricks for support of the wall above. So as we got section for a tray, and then we left a section of 2 bricks, and again we leave them 2, we run bricks around the corner and all the way to the other side. Now, because of the size of the cavity and the depth of the wall, I will use roll of lead that is 240 mm wide, marked up 2 inches sections around. That's going to be for our fold. It's just a simple fold up on 3 sides with a folded corners. Do not cut the corners, just fold them as you would make, say, a paper tray. Just using a standard lead dresser and a bit of 4x2 and a bit of pattern to dress around. And on this section here, I'm showing how to fold internal corner. So I'm marking up from the back point of the corner 90 degrees and then 45, and then I'm just going to fold it again as you would fold the paper. So this is the first step of folding. One is on 90 degrees on a tray and one on 45, and as you fold them over, the whole tray folds 90 degrees into internal corner. Now we got this open end here that we'll have to cleat up, fold upwards and over. And now I'm going to repeat that twice. So this is folded once and then folded second time to form the water seal joint. Now the trays are prepared and ready to be cemented on to a mortar bed and sealed up on the back edge against the inside brickwork. The outer corners have been folded back out, and once all trays are installed on this way, we can proceed and be putting infilling with bricks. Now you can pay attention to that ugly patch on that gable. We will remove that and replace following day. Now whilst we're replacing the bricks on these trays, we have to pay attention to put weep vents in each tray section. So I'm gonna have a brick, weep vent, and then a brick on the other side, or a couple bricks, depends how big the section. These weep vents, they got 2 sides. One is vent side, one is weep side. We're going to use a weep side because our cavities are fully filled with insulation. This is the sand cement mortar mix, and I'm going to use my jointing trowel to fill all the joints in nicely with 45-degree action, so that we don't get fallout on the back. Now with a step flushing, vertical step flushing, I'm going to mark up the line of each top of the brick on each course of the bricks, just marking up top of the brick, and that's going to be our fold point. We're not going to cut on that point, it's going to be fold line. Now marking up where is going to end up with our flushing, and then so I can mark up how deep we're going to go in with these steps. That's going to come to that fiberglass edge on the side there, about there somewhere. So I'm just going to mark up like a vertical line, and then hopefully it's going to be clear enough. We got our little horizontal marks for the fold, so that's fold. I'm going to extend them up to that vertical mark, and then mark up diagonals from each point downwards. That will be a long cut, and then about 3/4 inch up, another cut above the fold line. I'm going to use either utility knife or tin snips to do all the cuts, and then I'm going to do fold on that longer horizontal line as a fold line. All the cuts are made. I'm going to remove the little triangles, excess, and then fold up on a fold line each step as shown here. Once that is done, I can clear the joints and then carefully insert step flushing into the joints and secure it with a little lead pellets, little wedges that are made from the offcuts of lead. Just a little bit of dressing on the very top steps. Don't worry about the bottom steps at this point. You want to secure the top ones first, so little strip of lead, triple fold, and then just using a hammer, just flatten one side to make it into a wedge, and then drive it into the top joint with help of bolster. And just simply repeat the process on all other steps of the step flushing. So little offcut of lead. You can see our triangle cut out, never goes to waste. Triple fold, flatten it into a wedge, and just drive that pellet into the joint. That will give nice mechanical fixing to our step flushing, and once that is completed on all the joints, we'll just do simple pointing with our mortar mix. Mortar used on all this is about 4.5 to 1, which is 4.5 parts of sand to 1 part of cement in that nice creamy mixture. You can see on the course below that I've already installed the lead tray section. There is that little plastic deep vent protruding out. That is essential for every tray. And yeah, there you can see now, once all these sections have been bricked up, I got deep vent missing there. I'll install it following day. I run out of them. I'm just using a soft brush to brush off all the joints and clean up, ready to leave it for following day. Now you can see the sections that have been opened up earlier, they're all bricked up with new trays in, and so we got that one to remove tomorrow, that one there, and that one there, and that one there, and also that ugly patch of brickwork above it on that little gable. And there is our step flushing, and also I'll have to dress up that rich lead. It looks like one piece, but it's actually two lengths, because you can't run lead longer than 4 foot section, 4 foot to 5 foot section. So now following day, it doesn't feel like it, but this is following day now. We are removing the other sections. You can see that between the camera and the drill is a section of the leg tray that is dressed nicely over the flashing with fresh strips within previous day. Now I'm just using the hammer drill breaker, which is a breaker, 12.5 joules impact force. It might be more than that, I'm not sure. To roughly remove the bricks, and then I'm going to use my cordless DeWalt SDS drill and with a flat chisel just do fine trimming, so you can clean up all the gaps nicely and all the edges, making care I don't damage the lead work that I already installed previously. You can see there's some cavity insulation in the wall there that is falling out. The rest of the cavity insulation I'm going to push back up into the exposed bit of wall. Now because the wall is been filled with a cavity insulation, I'm not using vent side of the plastic veep vents. I'm only using the veep side, so actually allows the water to escape, but it will not need to vent the cavity because cavity is solidly filled with insulation. Now you can see these are all sections prepared now with all bricks removed, and that ugly patch is removed as well. And wall is actually still supported on these trays that we installed previous day. So again, same process. We got roll of lead, fold it all up into the pieces with 2-inch upstands all the way around, pug on the base, lead in, and so on each one. Now we need to join them up. I have to pull off the joint a little bit, and then the second tray installed, or latter tray installed, I'll trim the upright bit on a slight angle. You'll see that in a minute. And then I'm going to make from the 2-inch strips of lead, I'm going to make a little fold up cleats that will sit over the joint on top to stop any water ingress that will fall from the inside the brickwork downwards onto the joint, because as you can see with the two trays platted together, there is a joint between them that water coming from above could actually penetrate between them. Now this is just a simple procedure to make that cleat from the 2-inch strip. 2-inch strip is as long as the back of the tray to the front. Now with a hammer I'm gonna fold up the back edge of that cleat in order that if any water actually gets on top of that cleat, can't even remotely go and run off the back edge. So as that will go inside and butt against the rear wall. Now even whatever water hits the top of that cleat, most of it obviously will run left and right into the neighboring trays, but there is no even remote chance that any water will run off the back edge of it against the inner skin. It's all going to fall into the trays. Now with this excess on the front, as I mentioned earlier, with a latter installed tray, I'm going to cut that front vertical lip of the tray back a little bit with the snips, and then fold the previously installed tray vertical bit over that. It will make more sense just in a minute or two. So I just marked up end of my cleat. So now I'm going to just mark up further. You can run like a vertical cut like that with a little bit of horizontal snip, or just cut it on an angle. I'll show in this video both sections, and then this is how it looks after that. I will make another clip with more detail Now when it's folded like that, there is no water, there's no way that water can come in. Now I'll have to just repeat that process on all other joints. It is a bit time consuming, but it's a bulletproof way of actually forming the joints. Now you can see the other one, you can see it on the back. I'll try to lighten the camera up. That's the back of the cleat. I sealed up the joint between the tray and the brickwork. On very exposed situations like right on the seafront, I would have to do internal flushing as well, which will involve removing more of the bricks on the outside and running another flushing on the inner skin into the tray, but not in this case. This is very protected, wind and rain protected side of the house.
Just a little note about these veep vents.
Now the veep vents, as I explained, they've got two different sides. One of them is for veep, you can see there, so it says this way up, and the narrow end is the front. That's just to allow the water to escape from the tray, as we installed it here. And then also the vent side, if you need to vent the cavity from the tray, it's marked up clearly as a vent, and then marked up with a big end with louvers as a front, and marking up the top end of it. And that's how you install it into the brickwork if you need it for venting. We don't need it for venting in our case, because our cavities are solidly filled with insulation. Now it just shows how it's been done. It said every tray section has got one veep vent on it. Now you can see how I cut that back, that the latter lead tray, and the firstly installed lead tray then folds over it, and that is how you form the cleat on the front edge to stop any water ingress from the front perk of the brick.
Fold up cleat.
And then you just need to slide the fold up cleat on top of it, and like on the previous ones, and job done. Now it's showing me here finishing that ugly patch of the brickwork that has been put by, I believe, plumbers when they replaced the boiler years ago. Always load up the frog of the brick with the pug. When you put in last, you'll have far less mortar to push in into the joint. And you can see I'm just loading the frog up, or that's the indentation in the brick. Put it in, lining all up, and then with a jointing trowel, that very narrow trowel, I'm pushing sort of in a 45-degree angle, so you don't get any loss of the pug inside of the cavity, pushing solidly and filling that joint with pug, call it sand cement mortar, and just refilling all these little joints. I'm going to point it up. I don't work this fast, by the way. This is on a 3 or 4 times speed of actual speed. Now using a wooden round tool, just dressing our joints. Now, because the rest of the joints are being weathered,
I could have just brushed it off, but because if you look carefully, where the existing joints have been washed out, they're sitting about millimeter.
as it's been weathered in and worn out. Now I'm trying to simulate that by just with a point of the pointing trowel. I'm just cutting that fresh mortar back to achieve that sunk-in edge as on existing brickwork. So it actually, once the puck dries out, it will look more like existing one. Once it's dried out a little bit, a good brush off with a soft brush, and just a bit of attention to any detail with a
joints are
point
quite
control.
dark now, it's because the pug is still wet. Once it dries out, it will lighten up.
I'll just have a look from below.
Once the pug goes dry and light grey, that will look much ready to go.
Much better than previous patch. Now you can see all finished, all pleated, cleaned up. That's the patch there, that will dry out. Squeaky roof. I didn't unfortunately have the time to make a video of the roof.